What's up guys, Spin Firearms here, and today we're going to be talking about the cheapest, most budget-oriented firearm that I actually carry. No, I'm not talking about just carry for the internet or anything like that. Actually carry. And it may concern you in some areas, it may confuse you, but for me, I feel confident with it. I feel just fine with it, capacity-wise, shootability-wise, reliability-wise, and we're going to get into that. So you see all these firearms in front of me, right? They are all amazing carry firearms. Although I have had issues with my Canik Meta MC9, so we're sort of just going to put that over here, right? Because that is a budget-oriented firearm. Then you have the Shield Plus, $375. This is the best budget firearm in the world. I don't care what anyone says, there is nothing better than the Shield Plus when it comes to its overall price, compared to its performance, reliability, trigger, ergonomics, texturing, magazine availability, compatibility, and so on. Because there is the flush 10 round mag, there's a 13 round mag, the 15 round mag. Mag Guts makes kits for the flush 10 round mag. It adds a little length to it, adds a little pinky extension, adds 3 rounds. So this has an absolute awesome aftermarket. Holsters, literally anything is available, and this is only $375. Therefore, compared to something like a Hellcat, right? This is $500 right out of the box. You have about $125 to get yourself some night sights and holster before you end up just spending what you get to get this, but you do get night sights with the Hellcat, so it's all up to you. But mine's been 100% reliable. I absolutely love the Shield Plus, but no, $375 is not the cheapest. It's actually quite a bit more expensive. And all these you see in front of me are around $500, so those are already out of the way. They're all great firearms, but that's not my cheapest. Taurus GX4. No, I do not carry this. I did carry it for a little while. I also pocket carried it a little bit for work in the meantime while waiting for a firearm, but no, this is not it. I do not carry this. I do not trust my life with it. Budget firearms scare me a little bit, so I do not trust this. But what I do trust, and what is cheaper, the CZ P10M. This firearm right here, someone said was going for $229. I believe on PSA, but I could be wrong. But $229. That is ridiculous. Skies are like $180 to $210, right? And this is a CZ. Look at the finish on this slide. Let's take a look at my Taurus GX4 slide. And I don't even holster this thing. I mean, I carried this thing for like a week. This thing is just, it looks terrible. I mean, the finish doesn't really matter, but I always wonder about the inside of the slide and how that's going to perform and stuff like that. Also, the internals of budget firearms make me a little nervous, because how do you make them so cheap? Where are you cutting corners? Is it in the internals? Where are you doing it at? Is it in the frame? Is my frame going to crack? You just don't know with budget firearms. But CZ has a reputation that's very high on the totem pole, right? They just run. And I feel like CZ is going to be dropping a double stack Micro 9 soon. Therefore, they're dropping the prices. Now, this was $300 when I first got it, or a little under $300. I think it was like $290, right? But right now, $229, so that's the price we're going to say it is, because that's what you could go out and get it for. You get a rail. You get awesome texturing on memory pads, remembering to keep your finger off the trigger, also remembering to keep your thumb off the trigger. Metal sights right away. It's actually very ergonomic. I threw this grip on there just to make it a hint wider for me, and oh my goodness, this feels like a glove in my hand. I can shoot this thing amazingly. Also, a pretty decent trigger guard size-wise for getting a gloved finger in there, and an awesome trigger. Now, it's not the regular CZ trigger, but I've put almost 1,000 rounds through this thing, and that trigger started loosening up around 250, 300 rounds. It really started loosening up, getting lighter, and now it's just a great everyday carry trigger. And you're going to say, oh, it's a single stack. Yes, it is. They also make a 3+3 magazine base plate, right, which you throw on the OEM mag, and you get a 10+1 setup. It ends up being the same overall length as what? A Glock 43X, which is 10+1 with OEM mags, right? So it ends up being the size of this, 10+1, the same as a 43X. And once again, that base plate may cost you $40. So if it's $229, that's about $270, and you have a 10+1 setup with metal sights, a great shooter, super ergonomic, and everything else. Now, the problem with this is aftermarket support. Vetter makes holsters for it, which is all you really need, to be honest, if you're going to get holsters. But other than that, there is no aftermarket support. There's only one base plate that I've ever seen that is sold in America. And then holster options. It does have a rail, but here's the problem. What company is making holsters for this firearm with that light that you choose? And that's the main issue. I do know of a couple custom holster makers out there, but they tend to be more expensive. But a lot of times they will make it for you. If you send it to them, or certain situations where they might have the stuff laying around, they will actually mold it for you and make you it. It may not be the best quality in the world for the price, but it at least gets you a holster. I saw someone online who also got their CZ P10M optics ready with that +3, and they had a sick setup. Absolutely sick. I think they even got it Cerakoted. I'll probably post a picture for you guys because it was absolutely beautiful. But this firearm right here for $229 is giving it away. It's ridiculous. This is not a Taurus we're talking about here. This is a CZ. Taurus has a reputation of just terrible quality control. And an example of that is they were having a crazy run. They had the G2C coming out, the G3C, the GX4, the GX4 XL, and then what happens? The recall. And I've had so many people underneath my videos talking about how their firearm was recalled. That makes me nervous. You should not be having drop safety issues at all. It just is what it is. But you will never have that with your CZs. These are just flawless firearms. Another thing I like about it is I ran this in like -14-degree weather, no sun at all, shooting in the snow, and this thing just ran beautifully. It runs every single hollow point. It runs every kind of ball ammo. It eats anything you throw through it. It is just overall CZ quality. Now the grip job I know probably looks bad because I did it myself, but trust me, it feels really good. I threw a couple layers underneath on the sides just to make it a little wider, and now it is just absolutely perfect. But the shootability is just on point. And like I said, don't worry about the trigger. I know there's a lot of YouTubers out there that bash the trigger for a little bit, but those are the people dry firing it. Those aren't the people taking it to range and putting tons of rounds through it, training with this firearm. So like I said, get that mag extension. You know, with a 10+1 setup, you will be just fine in 99.9% of all self-defense encounters. But yeah, that is the cheapest firearm that I carry, the cheapest firearm I'm willing to carry, and the cheapest firearm that I would recommend to somebody else for carrying. I just do not recommend Tauruses. That's just me. I love my Tauruses. I have two GX4s. I have two G3Cs. I have a TX22. I love my Taurus firearms. I just don't trust them for carry. I've had issues with my GX4 when I first got it. It's been flawless since. But still, I will not recommend that to saving your life, protecting your family's life. But for a firearm like a CZ, I trust CZ all day long. But once again, it all comes down to your firearm, right? I'm holding this firearm in front of me. It may be 100% reliable to thousands and thousands and thousands of rounds, but you may have a CZ at home that's a lemon. So the biggest thing is getting out there. I know ammo's expensive. I know life is expensive right now, but put one box of defensive ammo, the defensive ammo you're carrying, through it a month. If that's all you can afford, that's just fine. Put one box of defensive ammo through it, make sure it runs, and then carry that same defensive ammo, and you'll be just fine. It's all about the firearm that's in your hand. If you see a review on YouTube, you know, a first shots review or a 1,000-round review, and it's having malfunctions, that could be just that person's firearm. I know that's rarely ever stated. Big channels make that firearm seem like that is a representation as a whole for that firearm or that firearm line, but that is not the case at all. I've had great luck with firearms that people said were terrible, and I've had vice versa. I've had terrible luck with firearms that people said were absolutely great. So just remember that it only comes down to the firearm that you have in your hand, the firearm you are carrying, and the firearm you train with. Take defensive pistol classes. Get good with it. Realize that if you really are good with a pistol, you don't need more than 7+1. Self-defense is not a gunfight usually. Yes, I know there's certain cases like the Indiana Mall situation where you're at distance and stuff like that, but 99% of the time, it's not going to be. It's going to be up close and personal. It's going to be drawing and not even getting on sights. A lot of people just train aiming their sights, right? But that's not going to be self-defense. Self-defense is going to be drawing and just letting that firearm go as early as you can, lining up your body with their body, and just making sure you're getting hits. So that's the CZ P10M. It is an amazing firearm. I'm telling you, absolutely great. Small, concealable. You can carry it in the summertime. Like I said, 10+1. Throw a light on there. You could even make it your home defense if you really only had one firearm. That's what makes budget firearms like this so great. But if you do want to go one step up, you can always get the Shield Plus. It is a little bit more expensive, has a little bit more capacity. They both have positives and minuses. I always tell people flip a coin, but for $229, if it's still on sale for that price right now, there is nothing better in its class. Thanks for watching, guys.